Chris, do you think the Scott County Jail can or should do more to open up its fourth pod?
Yes. However, I put an asterisk on that. Apparently, we're not being offered. It's not very palatable to the jail because I think they need 20 or so prisoners in that fourth pod to hit the break-even point. 20 is an estimate, but it was around that number. And these folks that they're discussing with, the state and the feds, they won't give us a guarantee. So that the reluctance, I think, on the part of the county at this point is I don't want to open up a pot of a jail and then have half of what it takes me to break even over a long period of time. Thus, we're losing money with a bad decision. So I think more needs to be done talking to these other entities that need the space with respect to getting the guarantee that we're going to need to make it, if not, minimum threshold to break even, to maybe even generate a revenue.
Thank you, Chris. Tom, the fourth pod in the jail.
I agree with Chris. The state, when they're giving us, or telling us to take prisoners that have less than a year left, we're losing money on those people. And if they come here to Scott County, then we're losing money, and that's going to cost all of us. And I don't think that's fair. We either need to get more money from the state and at least break even, or not do it at all.
Thank you, Tom. Tom, in 2008, the legislature gave the county boards in the metropolitan area the opportunity to raise sales tax by 1/4 cent to invest in new transit projects. The current board declined to impose this sales tax, but future county boards could impose the tax. How would you vote on this issue and why?
I would vote no, because I think we're getting taxed at every area in our lives, whether it's the gas tax just went up this year. I don't know if it's 4 or 5 or 6 cents. They're talking about 3/8 of a cent for the outdoors people, which I thought the lottery was supposed to take care of. Everywhere we turn with the wheelage tax, we're getting taxed. So everywhere they're inching in, and people are getting taxed to death. Their fuel prices are up, although lately they're down a little bit, but if they look at their 401k statements, those are down heavily, and people are losing jobs. Taxes are just getting out of control at this point. I think the more you nudge those little 1/4% here and there, it all adds up. So I would vote no against that.
Thank you, Tom. Chris, the sales tax increase.
I'm not anti-tax. I am against the mechanism of raising sales tax for that purpose. I mean, there are representatives in this area and senators in this area, and if we need to generate money, there are mechanisms in place to get these things passed through the legislature. So I tend to disagree with that as well.
Thank you, Chris. Tom, your 3-minute closing statement, please.
Well, first of all, and I've said this before, this is not going to be an easy job. The next year or 4 years, whoever gets it, this is going to be a tough job. We're in the cutting mode. There's not money coming in. The growth in this county has about stopped, and we still need to spend money on programs that are mandated by the state. Having said that, I believe I have the experience to be fully dedicated and serve on this board and make the tough decisions that Scott County is facing in the next 4 years, the next 40 years, forever, or how long it is. Scott County is a great county. I was born here. I moved out, lived in Dakota County, 2 miles outside the line for 4 years, and came back. And I want my kids to live here, and their kids. So we need to look at things with the future in mind for everybody, so that Scott County continues to be a great place to live, work, and play. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Chris, your 3 minutes.
It has been said that county government is the most invisible level of government. Yet our county government profoundly affects our tax bill, our criminal justice system, levels of service to the most vulnerable, including seniors and children, services for veterans, returning from the war, transportation, and land use. The decisions we make today will have a significant and long-reaching implication to future residents. We have already felt the demands of the explosive growth during the last decade. 65% of us are currently commuting to work outside of Scott County. Of the 766 miles of county roads, many of them are too congested and just plain unsafe. State and federal highways are also congested. Scott County has three of the 100 most dangerous intersections identified by the state of Minnesota, and little is being done to correct that. The current regional and local network is not adequate to handle present or future demands. With increased population comes increased demands on transportation, public safety, court services, human services, and probation. Historically, a downturn in the economy translates into a spike in demand for county services. The number of senior citizens in Scott County is expected to double in the next 20 years. As people age, they become less mobile and more reliant on public transportation. There will be a need for both public and private long-term health care systems. There will be an increase in school-age children. This will undoubtedly result in government agencies competing for our tax dollars. The state of Minnesota has made unilateral decisions shifting the cost of services directly to counties. Examples of this include a shift in responsibility for medical assistance, adults with disabilities, predatory offender civil holds, and providing jail space to state prisoners in our county jails. However, I put an asterisk by that they are giving us $9 per day for those folks. The list does not stop there. Funding previously provided for by the state is now expected to be raised locally. This, coupled with increased fuel costs and the downturn in the economy, puts Scott and 86 other counties in a very untenable situation. The bottom line is our local government has been forced to increase taxes while simultaneously cutting budgets. This trend needs to stop. For these and other reasons, the county board is facing some very difficult decisions. I believe my experience provides me with a unique insight, especially regarding issues pertaining to public safety and health. I believe the relationships I've established with citizens and officials throughout the county stand to benefit the county as we challenge ourselves to resolve these issues. As a resident of Spring Lake Township, I know the importance of preserving the rural landscape and farmland against the encroachment of suburbia. I want to be part of the process seeking a sensible solution for the issues facing Scott County. I know these issues are very complex, and I will give them your time. I will give them my time and attention. I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Tom, and on behalf of the Scott County Historical Society, thank you both very much for participating in our candidates forum tonight.
Thank you.
How's your battery holding up? Hi, how are you?
Good. Well,
The Scott County Historical Society is very pleased to present these county commissioner debates. We did state representative debates last year. We are partnering with the Southwest newspapers and the Shakopee Chamber and the Jordan Chamber to present these debates tonight. We were very fortunate enough to have Joe Helkamp as our moderator. He has done this in the past for the chamber, and so he very kindly offered his services for us tonight.
Where's the questions come from?
The questions have been coming from the Southwest newspapers, provided quite a few of them. We also have received a lot over the internet. We have put out that anyone could send in questions to the Historical Society. We print them out and then we give them to Joe. And then Joe either asks them or puts them in the order to see if they fit with